My name is Kelly McElligott, and I'm one of the educators here with Bywater Solutions, and I have a short tutorial video on using the Batch Staff Permission plugin. This short tutorial video will show you how to use a new plugin that one of our developers, Kyle Hall, has created for those larger libraries that have multiple staff members that need to do the same functionality in Koha, and would be great to be able to batch assign permissions per maybe work group, circulation, cataloging, etc. So there is this great new plugin that is available. So one of the first steps that you need to do is, if you have not used a plugin with Koha, you would need to enable the plugin in your system preferences. So in that Koha administration, you would want to enable the system preference called Use Koha Plugins. After you set that system preference, you would go over to the Bywater GitHub site and find the plugin called Koha Plugin Batch Permissions Modifier. Download that plugin, and then you would go ahead and upload it onto your system. The plugin to be uploaded goes through the Tools module, and in this additional Tools area, you have that Tool plugin. You would take that KPZ file and use that upload plugin here. If you have any problems doing that, you are more than welcome to submit a ticket to Bywater Solutions, and we would do that plugin, upload that plugin for you. Once the plugin is uploaded, it would appear in your plugin page in the Tools section, and you have an action menu over to the right, and you have a couple tools: Run the tool, Configure, and Uninstall. I'm going to go through the configuring portion right now. So how this plugin was created, it was to first you would create what's called a template patron. So a patron that has the permissions that you would like to assign to a batch of staff members. So you would first create a template patron, and then take that patron number and add it here. And then what you're going to do is assign the staff members that you want these permissions attached to a patron list. And then we're going to map those together, and voila, this is easy as it is. So my first step is I'm going to show you, you're going to create a new patron for your template. So I'm going to go over to my patron screen, and I'm going to create a new patron. Category is not, it doesn't matter what category you choose. If you want to create a whole nother category, you are more than welcome to do that. You would need to fill out any of those mandatory fields that are required by your system. So I'm just going to do this as a cataloging permission. I do have a date of birth set, so I would have to assign a date of birth to move on. And I believe my only other required field is my email, so I'll put that in. And then I'm going to go ahead and just hit save. So again, I'm just creating this patron to assign those permissions that I want my cataloging staff to be assigned. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to set those permissions for the catalogers. Okay, so my catalogers would still do that basic circulation. They do need that required for staff login. They will modify patron and information. They probably will place some holds, and then we're going to assign that cataloging. So I'm all set. I've assigned my permissions for my catalogers, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Great. Now I'm going to take this borrower number, which is found here in that library use section of the detail page. That borrower number 352 is what I'm going to put in that template patron box in the plugin. So I'm going to go back over to the tools section. I'm going to go back into my tools plugin. I'm going to go to my configure. And I'm going to put that number in here. And if I remember it, so let's open another link. find that template that I just created. $352. So I'm going to go ahead and put that here. Now you can see I already have another template patron listed. That is fine. You can put multiple templates in this top box. It's just going to be the borrower number 1 per line. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and hit save. Now what I need to do is create a list that I can assign these staff members to. So I'm going to create a new patron list, and I'm going to call this cataloging. Cataloging staff. I'm going to add a patron to this, a staff member to this. Go ahead and add this Kelly Kapowski. And then I'm all set. Now, another part that I need to do is when I now need to map the template to the actual list ID. That list ID will be found in the URL. That's number 7. So now that I've created my template for my staff permissions and I've added a name to the list, I'm going to go ahead and map those together. So again, I'm going to go over to my tools section. I'm going to go to my tools plugin. I'm going to go back to configure, and I'm going to map the 352 template patron. I'm going to put a colon, space, and then that list, which it tells me right here, borrower number, colon, patron list ID. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and run my tool. And I'm going to say I'm going to pick that cataloging template, and I'm going to choose that cataloging staff. And I'm going to batch modify those permissions. So right now, I only have one patron that was attached to that list. I'm going to go check to make sure that those permissions were updated, and then we're going to add another person to the list and see how easy that is. So I'm going to go back to my tools. I'm going to go to my list. And I'm going to go ahead and just grab the Kelly Kapowski. And I'm going to go ahead and look at her permissions. So there I have her circulate, I have that required. I did say we wanted to be able to place holds and to edit the catalog. Okay, so now let's go ahead and grab another patron staff member that I'm going to have to add those permissions to as well. So let's see what permissions that this staff member Faye has. So she has serials and edit the catalog and circulation. So I'm going to go ahead and add her to my cataloging permissions, and what it should do is it should remove these serials and update the permissions based on my template. I'm going to go back to my tools, and I'm going to go back to my list, and I'm going to add my Faye staff member. I'm going to go ahead and add her. And so there I have Faye has been added to my list, and so now her permissions, given a few seconds, should be updated to match the cataloging templates that I've created. So I'm going to go ahead and click Faye's name, go to set permissions, and yep. So we no longer have those serials selected, so those permissions have been updated per the cataloging template. So once the plugin tool has been configured correctly and run, as soon as you add any new staff members to that list, it will update within a few seconds to the new permissions. Now, a little bit of a word of advice: if a staff member has the permission to modify permissions for other staff members, and say they went in here and actually said, you know what, she's going to be able to do patron fines and fees and then that acquisition module, and goes ahead and saves it. So I have a staff member who's updated this other staff member's permissions. This staff member's permissions will not stay with the new updated because it's still attached to that cataloging list. So if I go in here, I'm going to refresh the screen, set my permissions again. Those permissions are now gone again because it is attached to that list. So if you did have a reason to update a staff member's permissions, you would need to remove them from that list, or those changes won't be saved. They'll be saved, but then they'll go away. So a great use of that tool as well, that those permissions can't be adjusted without the list being adjusted. So this concludes the tutorial on how to use the Patron, the Batch Patron Permission plugin that Kyle has created. If you have any questions, please feel free. I will add the step-by-step directions in the blog post, as well as the GitHub website. Thank you for watching. This tutorial is a production of Bywater Solutions. Have a great day.